scenes. Hello.
Oh,
What are you doing?
Nothing. Hey, everybody. Hey,
Wait.
okay. Welcome, everybody, to our end of month edition. It's that time of the month. It's March 31st. We're wrapping up March 2021 in this amazing year. Okay, I'm being too hype about this. It's not really that great. And this is Secular Jihadists for a Muslim Enlightenment. This is the home of me, Ali Rizvi, and Armin Navabi, who's sitting here.
Why is my background so interesting and your background just plain white?
I think mine is just, I don't know. You could either look at it that way, or you could say
I think it represents our personalities.
Yeah, I'm more elegant. You're a little bit more tacky. That's it. That's all that is. So, yeah, I've got more of a clean Scandinavian look. A friend of mine told me that recently. Clean Scandinavian. So, hey, this is it. This is our Ask Us Anything thing. This is the time when all of you can come on and you guys can all ask us questions that you want to ask us. And I'm actually going to tweet it out again because I don't think I...
Oh, yeah. You didn't tweet it? Oh,
I did tweet it some time ago, but I'll tweet it again.
All right, let me go retweet you, actually.
Yeah, so Armin, how have you been? What's going on? Let's do some intros.
I'm good. Oh, look, see? It's vanilla. Put something in your background. Like you like music. I know your music is terrible, but at least you're proud of it. You could put like a guitar or something behind it.
But Armin, what do you know about music? About music?
I don't know. Here's the thing. I don't know anything, but even somebody with my amount of information on music can recognize how bad your music is. That's what it is. Yeah.
I don't think
so. It takes very little knowledge.
Okay, hold on. Let me just
All right.
Yeah,
Susie, ask us. Yeah, everyone just saying hi. Ask a question.
Is anybody choppy here? Is the audio okay, everybody? Is the audio okay?
You're fine. Yes, even for me, you're fine. Yes.
All right, so I'm going to do...
Oh, yes. Put a picture of me in your background. Somebody's saying in the live chat. Mehdi can...
Yeah. So anyway, this is good. So one thing that there's a couple of things that we're going to do. Oh, that's a great question. I'm going to answer that. Okay, so I'm going to... I want to say a couple of things. One of the things I should have told you this before, Armin, but you were late to the pre-meeting. But I wanted to suggest that on each Ask Us Anything, maybe we could focus on one area of questions, right? One topic that everybody can ask questions about. So
no. It should be a free-for-all. I think it should be a free-for-all.
It is going to be a free-for-all, but it's for people who have questions about a certain thing.
No, I mean, it should be... No, it's already... No. I think it should be whatever question anybody want to ask. Because that way we could also gauge...
It doesn't come to... Okay, I'll talk to you about this offline. Okay.
Here's what I like about this. Because this Ask Her All, it also gauges... It's a way for us to see what our audience is mostly interested. So by us not picking a topic, we use this Ask Us Everything episodes to basically see what our audience, what kind of questions people ask. So what topics we should cover next based on the questions we have. So I think we should let it whatever be whatever. Anyways, let's go to
that first question. I want to answer.
All right, that's for you. I mean, is it for me? Because the question is it difficult to work with Armin? So if I want to answer that, no, it's fantastic. I love working with myself.
Armin, the question is not for you, man. Okay, so the question is...
I'm going to answer it anyways.
With Armin, no. Actually, Armin is one of the easiest people to work with. He's a character. He's fun. He's interesting. He says a lot of things that are kind of, that I disagree with, and all of you know that. Not that much recently, though, I have to say. But he's actually one of the easiest people to work with. One of the things about Armin is that he's a stickler for time, like to the second. He's not like regular people or like a minute here or there or whatever. But he is. That's not a criticism, Armin. Just it's all right. Yeah. Don't freak out. Calm down. All right. So
I wasn't freaking out. I was being happy. I was like, oh wow, thanks for noticing.
You just went into this. So either you were about to perform oral sex or
No, I was pleasantly surprised and happy that you noticed. I was having that was good.
And he can sound like on online the stuff he says. Well, obviously He's banned from Twitter. I don't know what else you're banned from, but he's banned from a whole bunch of things. He sounds like the kind of person that would be really difficult, but he is actually one of the easiest and most pleasant people to speak to and to work with. So I'm really, really sorry. And he's, and deep inside, he loves my music. He's not going to say it. He's going to deny it right now. He's like, that's not true. I don't love your music. I hate it. Deep inside it, he does.
Well, I love everything about you except your music.
There you go. See, I told you he's going to deny it. Kafka trap. Susanna asked a question before that was, I think, was good too.
Oh, she did?
Yeah, she did.
I'm not seeing it. Oh, here.
Yeah. What is your most conservative opinion? Armin, what's your most conservative opinion?
Conservative. Define conservative.
What most people understand by conservative.
No, that's the problem. Most people think something is conservative and it's actually not. It has to actually be something that I want to conserve, not change, and people want to progress. And I have to, like most things, I'm okay with changing, progressing. So on most things, I'm a progressive. I don't have any emotional attachment to things being the way they are. I think that's a major block to evolving. Like I actually don't have any conservative opinions. I think I have to think about it because I'm okay with I'm such not like even people who think they're very progressive, they still have some things that they think is too taboo to change. I think our humanity is not even taboo to change. Like I want to evolve out of being human. Like I'm a transhumanist, right? So I don't know what I want to conserve. There's literally nothing that I could think of that I want to conserve. So it's very hard. Yeah, I'm a progressive. I'm a radical progressive, even by some progressive standards. But what are you?
No, if you define it that way, like I had the same thing. I want everything to change and keep on changing and evolving all the time. And I like that. But just in terms of like the way that normal, regular people nowadays understand conservative and liberal, I think my conservative opinions in terms of the current political spectrum, a couple of things. I'm very pro nuclear energy, right? It's not, usually conservatives are more pro that, liberals are against it. For some reason, I don't know. I actually think it should be part of the clean energy agenda. On a lot of economic issues, I'm conservative in a way that many liberals aren't. There's, I think, those are a few things that I think I'm conservative on, but on pretty much all the social issues, I think I'm liberal.
Yeah. So, for example, when I think of conservatives being conservative, I can't say that word. A lot of people, like most things, the main thing that people think of is family structure. Keep the family structure, and progressives are like, why? What the hell? There's nothing like spiritual about certain like this or that. We could keep evolving. We could keep progressing based on our better understanding of how human mind works. People are like, oh, conserve. Keep the genders, blah blah blah. And I'm like, so that's what more progressives are. But I am me being a progressive goes beyond just family structure. I'm okay with even changing the nature of the individual itself as well. So yeah, I think I'm a radical progressive. I think.
Yeah. By the way, are we live streaming on Facebook right now too?
Yes.
Okay, good. So yeah.
All right. So
next question. We already did this. Kenji, the potato enthusiast, is asking, what do you guys think about the recent research showing that male virginity is skyrocketing?
Well, is it? Wait. So yeah, I saw that. I think it has. Here's a question: Can it be mostly attributed to the lockdowns, or is it beyond the lockdowns?
That's the thing. Yeah. What's the time frame of the study?
If it's beyond the lockdowns, then I think here's the thing. Anything I say is a guess. It must have to do with people just becoming worse at all form of social interactions, because not just sexual ones. You know what I mean? Like, I think people are might be having harder and harder time interacting with other human beings in person, like in the physical world, not just online. I'm. This is just a guess. I have no idea if it's true or not. Okay, it could be completely off. But again, I have the data. We have to see if this data is because of the lockdown or is beyond just that. So.
I think it's really interesting. The last 2 years, probably, I guess the last 2 years, we had this dude in Toronto come out and drive a truck into a street and kill 10 people. So that guy, and it turned out that he did it because he was an incel and he was frustrated that he wasn't getting laid. And then you have recently that guy who killed all those Asian, attacked, did the whole shooting thing in the Asian massage parlors. Okay, he is also the same thing, just driven by, this really religious guy who felt really guilty about sex. So, and then you have the Taliban and you have ISIS and all those people from our part of the world in segregated societies. And what do you promise them? What's the number one thing they want if they kill themselves and they do jihad and they go to heaven? 72 virgins, women. So it's a really, really big thing. And Bill Maher said something on his recent show where, he said that they should start teaching this stuff in school. Like a lot of guys, just how to interact with women, how to just understanding those kinds of things. Like this kind of stuff needs to be taught probably in schools right now, because it seems like there's something happening. I don't know about the rates of male virginity, but I guess I'm glad I got out of it while I could. Dirty Dancer is asking, why do people care so much about Israel-Palestine?
I have 3 reasons. Do you want to go first?
No, I want to hear your 3 reasons. If I agree with them, then I don't have to speak.
All right. 2 of them are mostly just because of Israel rather than Israel-Palestine. And because of Israel, I'm interested in anything that is relevant to Israel. One is because of the history of Israel. It's just so freaking interesting. Both ancient Israel and modern Israel, both the history of them are ancient Israel is even pre-Judaism. It seems very interesting. Then everything happened. I mean, this is where every single Abrahamic religion is tied to, and even Zoroastrianism, and even Mesopotamian religions is just fun. I don't know. It's just fascinating, and how everything is just connected to Israel somehow when it comes to the history of these ideologies. From a modern perspective, also, when it comes to the birth of different nations, Israel has the most interesting history. It's the history, the birth of Israel as a modern nation state is connected to religion, ethnicity, geopolitics in so many different ways. And the fact that so many geopolitics of countries in the region and beyond there is tied to what happens to Israel just makes Israel a fascinating country to monitor. And also being interested in Iran's politics and how the Palestinian. So this is the 3rd one now. The Palestinian cause, how it's usually gets used as a way to by countries like Turkey and Iran to be able to set their own narrative and force their influence in the region using the Palestinian issue. That also makes it very interesting for me to see how that is used. And also actually going to the Palestinians itself, and also for the sake of Israel, here's the thing. I know there are more people, other places that are also in, a lot of people say, given the size of Israel and Palestine, they do get a lot of more attention compared to, I don't know, what's happening in China or India. True. But at the same time, it does really suck to be, the life under the Gaza Strip is really bad. The standards are very low, and even though, I mean, you don't have to have huge numbers to be able to justify caring about a certain group of people, right? So as much as I defend Israel existing as a country, I think a lot of people who do defend Israel existing as a country don't seem to care that much about Palestinian lives improving, and I think you could do both. They're not contradictory. So that's why another reason why we should care about Palestinians. But yeah, Ali, what do you have?
Can you hear me? Because my mic
Yeah,
got
I
kicked
can
out for a
hear
little
you.
bit. Okay. Yeah, I think I actually think we care disproportionately too much about Israel and Palestine. I agree with. I know Israel is really interesting historically. I think a lot of it has to do with that. The fact that it was a Jewish homeland and it was after the Holocaust. So it's sorry, I shouldn't have said that word. I know YouTube's going to strike us. But in any case, there's a that was
Not
basically it.
strike.
They got a homeland. And a lot of people were against it. The Christians didn't like them. The Muslims didn't like them. It happened right in the middle of Arabia. And there's just a lot of attention. So you can have somebody like Omar al-Bashir kill 500,000 Sudanese, people in Sudan. And nobody really cares because it's an Arab leader killing like a whole bunch of black Muslims, or Arab Muslim killing a whole bunch of black Muslims, or, Bashar al-Assad, another Muslim guy killing his own Muslim people, again, 500,000 people. But anything that happens in Israel and Palestine just gets amplified. A lot of it, I think, is because of religion. Like, this is a religious conflict, whatever it is. It's snowballed over the years, and there are geopolitical issues now. There's, land-based issues. There's ethnic issues. There's racial issues. But ultimately, at its root, right, this was between Jews and people who are not Jews. Jews and mainly Muslims. So
I don't think you could disproportionately really. Maybe yes, maybe it's disproportional, but I don't see that as a criticism because you care about what you care about, right?
No, it's not a criticism. I understand why people care about it.
I know. I didn't. That's why I say I don't think you meant it as a criticism, because even if it's disproportional, if something captures your attention and you care about it, it doesn't have to be the world's biggest thing. It just does. Especially if so many, even if you think it's a smaller thing compared to other issues around the world, if other countries have managed to make it a big thing, then it becomes a big thing. Even if you think it shouldn't be a big thing, it has become a big thing. I mean, for example, my country of birth, Iran, has made it one of the main ways of it for it to exert its influence around non-Shia Muslim population around the Middle East, right? Because the Islamic Republic of Iran, how you can't just rely on the Shia narrative to try to sell its influence to Muslims around in the Middle East, because a lot of them are not Shia. So it has to use the guardian of the guardian of the Palestinian people as an agenda. So so that's a big thing.
Yeah. I think I did. So anyway, like I don't want to spend too much time on this, but my opinion is that I guess it's like the attention on it is I just feel that it's overblown. I think a lot of the religious aspect also has to do with the commandments. Like in Jewish scripture, it actually says that this land was given to you. Go in and drive the people out from it before you, right? And then in the Quran, the kind of things it says about Jews. I mean, there's a very, very deeply religious rooted thing in it. And I think anything that's religious is just very, very passionate for people. It's because it's the only kind of bigotry, religious bigotry is the only kind of bigotry that's still revered, right? All the other bigotries are looked down upon. So anyway.
I just want to mention that we got a new member. Thank you so much.
Ghost Bunny, thank you.
Thank you. Wait, okay, I lost our place. Here is it, James.
Right. So
Wait. No, here.
James SC, this is for me. He's asking, Ali, how is it working with Abdullah Samir on the Epilepsy project? Oh, that's Abdullah Gondal, who's working on the Epilepsy project. Did you see that video an apologist called Fareed did with a neurologist trying to poo-poo the symptoms? I didn't see the video. There's going to be a lot of people who are going to try to, I guess, using your term, poo-poo everything. But I think Abdullah Gondal's got a good case. I have seen some of the materials that he sent over. We haven't gotten down to actually properly laying anything down, but I'm really looking forward to it. I think it's a really interesting, fascinating project.
So this is a question is saying, who do you think is behind the 400 billion China deal, the IRGC, or what do you mean who's behind? You're talking about the 25-year deal between Iran and China. What do you mean who's behind it? It's China and Iran. I mean, who's behind it? What do you mean?
QAnon.
Oh my God! Ali just wants to use all the keywords that gets us in trouble with you.
That's going to get us in trouble too?
What do you think? That's the main thing YouTube. That's the number one thing YouTube is sensitive about.
Oh, I love this. This is great. I can't say anything.
Oh, anything. Just
as long as it's not anything in the headlines.
He's just like, no. Ali just used the few words that are the most taboo, and then he says, "Oh, I can't say anything."
Okay.
Who do you think is behind? Okay, so I don't know what this question means, but so I'm just gonna answer. I'm gonna say something about the Al-Assad deal. A lot of people in Iran are so pissed about this. Ali, I think we should do a live stream on this deal. In fact, there's so much I could spend 1 hour talking about the reaction this is getting from United States inside Iran, pro-government. So I'll just tell you, I'm not gonna get into too much into this. I'll just tell you what's happening. If I think, is it the 400 billion? I think that's okay. So China and Iran just signed a deal, a 25-year deal that is the details of it is hidden, but it's supposed to be Iran's government trying to get closer to China because and trying to reduce the pressure that is getting from the sanctions. The deal involves Iran selling its oil to China at a discount. It gets China is going to get involved in Iran's economy a lot. There's a lot of rumors. I don't know how much of it is true. I think it's been exaggerated. A lot of Iranians who are anti the Islamic Republic of Iran, anti-government, are saying that these people just sold our country to the Chinese. We're going to have like a death trap from Iran. Chinese troops are going to have to come bring soldiers to Iran, and we're like, these people that keep saying that we want independence from the West just basically sold our country to the East. So some people who are anti-government don't want this deal to go through because they think like it will reduce the pressure on the government, and they want maximum pressure on the government. Biden administration came out and said that they're worried about this deal. Anyway, so there's so much I could say about this, but I'm going to leave it at that right now.
Yes, so maybe we can do a live stream on this, as you said.
Yeah,
so guys, just remember, anytime you ask a question about Iran, we're going to end up with a very, very long answer. So please, try to focus up on other areas. No offense. It's all very interesting. It's okay. Armin stopped eating. He did. I think he stopped eating. Next question. Done. Oh, okay. Here's another Iran question. Do you think Iran will ever be democratic? Armin, yes or no?
Okay, I'll keep it short. I don't know. And anybody who says they know, they're full of crap because there's a number of factors involved are too many.
Okay. Wow. That's good. Thank you. All right. Next question. James saying, do you want to conserve Enlightenment values, but progressives want to move beyond them and get more woke?
No.
Exactly.
I see I see your trick, James, but Enlightenment values are their very nature self-correcting
and anti-woke.
Yeah, so Enlightenment values are by them like the way so my definition, the way I look at Enlightenment values, which might not be the best thing, is that it's not set in stone. It has freedom of expression, freedom from criticism. It has a scientific model built with a part of those values, and these are values that are collect the data, look at the results, and change accordingly. So it is, by its very nature, Enlightenment values are not conservative, right? Because they are constantly updating themselves, right? So it's like a software that keeps updating to a better model. So,
right.
But yeah, nice try. Okay.
All right. Alfred is saying, what is your advice for closeted ex-Muslims that have to live a double life until you're able to get independent from your family? Well, I'll start with this.
Okay.
Work on getting independent. Work on whether it's education, whether it's especially financial independence, to have a place to go. Work on becoming self-reliant and becoming independent. If you don't know how to go about it, go online. And this you can do in the vast majority of places. Go online, connect with different communities if you can. Do it in a way that is safe. Stay safe. That is, there really is. I know a lot of people do it, and we respect them, but there isn't. It's not a very good life model to go out and risk your life, right? Because you want to do things. You have to be patient. Go online, connect with people. Try to find a way to become professionally, financially independent, and then you'll have a lot of freedom to make the kind of decisions that you want to make.
So I think Ali just gave the best advice. I do want to give some suggestions on how to become financially independent.
Yeah.
However, I have to give a disclaimer. I'm not a life hack expert, or I'm not a financial expert. So anything I say might be completely wrong, and you need to go do your own research. But you don't need to buy even any course. You could just watch. There are already a lot of free YouTube videos on any skill that you need to learn. Like whether it's design, whether it's video editing, and these are, and you could even look at YouTube videos on best skills for making enough money. You could even look at what are one hint is that the more courses there are for certain skills, that means there's more people making money from it. But again, you don't need to really buy courses. Most of the skills that you need to learn, there's already YouTube instructions available for free on how to learn it. So learn a skill and then go sell your skills, and then figure out how you could scale it up by hiring a team or something eventually when you become better at it. And you could sell your skills on places like Upwork or Udemy. And here's the thing as well. So go learn, go find the skills that you enjoy and also will make you enough money if you sell them. However, the most important skill that you need to learn is the skill of learning new skills fast. Okay, so because whatever you learn how to do, just understand. This is why maybe again, I'm not giving life advices. Getting the skills that takes you 4 years to learn are not a good idea. Like if you're going to get a degree at a university, which takes 4 or 5 or whatever amount of years, because anything you learn might become useless or done by AI 2 years or 4 years. So you need to learn something that is going to make you money now, but you also need to get really good at learning things fast, so that the next thing that makes money, you could just learn it very fast and just build up on that.
I wanted to say something. I actually think that this is something we should do a live stream on, because I get emails every week from people, messages on Instagram and everything every week, several of them every week, asking me this question. It's by far the most common thing that, I'm here, I'm in a family, I'm trapped. How do I get out of it? How do I leave the country? How do I become independent from my family? How do I run? And there's all kinds of things. And I think there are many different aspects to it. There's immediate short-term help, like, counseling services, like what Jimmy Bangash does, right?
Right.
The counseling services. There are all kinds of things. There's short term, there's intermediate term, there's long term, and I think that we should actually do a whole episode on this.
That's good. I just wanted to add one last thing. Learn the skills that you could sell, that is location independent, especially for ex-Muslims. If you're trying to get out of somewhere, you don't need an office. You don't need to be, you don't have a boss that you need to go in, a workplace that you need to go into. It needs to be location independent. So if you get thrown at, if you're leaving a country, if you're going from one province to another, as long as if you have a laptop, you have internet connection, you are going to be able to sell your skills. So make sure it's also location independent. Anyways, next question.
Goddess Katie is asking, where'd you get this question? Oh, it's up higher. Yeah, Goddess Katie's asking, what do you think is the cringiest thing to wear?
I have no idea. I don't have any. I am the last person to ask about this. So
To wear, as in for us to wear ourselves, or when I see other people wearing it?
I don't know. Let's
Speedos
go
still get me. Like old people who wear Speedos, that still kind of gets me. I think that's a little cringy. Men. Generally, when men do it. Cis men.
Okay.
Only cis men. Trans men, it doesn't bother me.
Okay. Whatever.
What? It's really inclusive, man. I got Puck Slayer is asking, what is your position on the case of whether the Christian baker should be forced to bake the cake for the gay couple or not? We've talked about this before.
Forced to bake the cake. Yeah, we already talked about this. It's not okay. It's not forced to bake the cake. I forgot what my last position was on this. I have to rethink about it.
I think I remember because I had the same kind of position. Is that if it's a kind of situation where there is somebody, if you're in the part of a country where these people are unable to get cakes anywhere because everybody hates them, everybody hates gay people. If you're somewhere in rural Mississippi where everybody's out to get you,
I remember.
then the law should protect you. If you're in a place like if you're in a place like Chicago or New York, there's an argument to be made that, okay, you can't force them to bake the cake because the market will correct itself. There'll be loads of other people will be willing.
I don't think that should be what the law is based on. The law should be based on whether or not a discrimination.
Universal.
Yeah. So I think if the cake is the same as, and if it's not because they're putting a message on here's the thing, right? If somebody comes and tells me that make a cake, and we're Christian, right? And I'm an atheist, and they're like, we're Christian, make us a cake. If I say, no, I'm not, I don't make cake for Christians, I think that's a legit violation. I'm discriminating against a group of people, right? And I think that maybe that there's a justification for why this should be legal. Like if they just like make us a cake, and I realize they're Christians, and I say I'm an atheist, I don't make cake for Christians, I think that's discrimination. So I think I should be making them a cake. Okay. However, if they say make us a cake and put a Bible verse on it, then in that situation I could say like, listen, I don't like putting Bible verses on cakes. And I think in that situation, I could tell them I'll make you a cake without a Bible verse. Is that okay? I'm just not gonna make a Bible verse cake with a Bible verse on it. I think that should be allowed, right? So I think in a similar situation, if somebody comes and says, "Make us a cake,"
if it's a Bible verse, especially like you have to think about it this way: if it's the Bible verse like Leviticus 20:13, which says,
right,
kill two men who sleep with each other, where it talks about killing gay people, then of course,
But here's the thing. So in a similar situation, if somebody says, make us a cake and we're going to use this for a gay wedding, and I think if I don't make it, if I would make the exact same cake for a straight wedding and I'm not making the exact same cake for a gay wedding, then that's grounds for discrimination, and I think it's fair to have laws against that.
Okay.
However, if they say make us a cake and put we're gay and we're happy, then I think it's fair for the baker to say, look, I make you a cake, I can show you how to put whatever you want writing on it, I'm just not going to do it myself, right? Anyways.
All right, so next question. Cosmic Dust is saying, what is your honest opinion on the future of religious extremism in the US? Can I... I have something to say about this. I think a lot of the religious extremism, especially when it becomes nowadays, like when it's becoming really extreme, I think it's a sign and a symptom more than a phenomenon. It's kind of a similar sign to, when you're drowning, if you're in the sea, in the middle of the ocean, and you're drowning, you're going to scream the loudest, right? So there might be, like, most people will be okay, and there'll be a few people who are going to be drowning, and they're just going to scream the loudest because they want to survive. They want somebody to save them. And what happens is when you have movements that are dying out or in their death throes, they tend to become more intense. They tend to become more extreme. They tend to become, the more sort of fringe they get. When you have an animal that's threatened into a corner, they're going to be really, really loud at that time. So I think what you're seeing nowadays is not a phenomenon, a widespread phenomenon of religious extremism. I think you're seeing the people who are really, really, really trying to hold on to it before it dies out. And there's, like all the recent polls and everything, they bear this out. I mean, the millennials are dropping religion like flies. I mean, that's a separate conversation that they're getting into all kinds of other things that maybe with religious fervor, that's a different conversation. But religion as we know it, the kind of Christian religious extremism, I just don't think it's going to survive more than a couple of generations in the US or anywhere.
All right, we have so many questions, and we have a super chat that is down below. I'm not going to click on the super chat yet because I'm going to lose my place. But I saw the super chat, and we will get to it. And
do you want to go for it first? I can look at it. I can read it out.
No, we'll get to it. But Ali, let's try to keep it. I know I'm going to violate my own rule, but
we'll both try to keep it short.
Yeah.
Okay. Bulbul is saying, can you guys do an episode on the Islamism in Mozambique? It seems insane and nobody knows anything about it. That would include me.
That includes me. Thank you for bringing that to attention. Suze, can you remind me to look into this? We'll look into this.
Better yet, Bulbul, email secularjihadists@gmail.com and let us know. Give us some information on it and we'll kind of look into it. All right.
Yes. Thank you.
Next one.
What is
We've already basically reached the optimization for human relations. It's a family added with a community they feel warmth towards. So this is a comment, not a question.
Yes.
Correct. Aditya had a good question before this.
Where is it? Oh, here. Because it didn't tag us.
No. 11:10. This is a comment. 11:10. Aditya is saying 11:10. Yeah, it's saying, what is your opinion on people having assault rifles legally?
Here.
Yeah. What's your opinion on people having assault rifles legally?
I mean, I think it shouldn't be legal.
Yeah. By assault, you mean semi-automatic?
Yeah, I don't think it should be legal. I think it should be made. Yeah. I think that's the short answer. That's good.
Yeah, that's easy. I mean, the whole world knows that. I mean, most people, it's only one place where that's a debatable topic in the world. Kenji is saying, in 2008, 8% of young men had no opposite sex partners. In 2018, it shot up to 27%. So I guess that's a statistic. I don't know. Figure it out, guys. Just go out and just figure it out.
Maybe we should do an episode on giving people dating advice.
That's what I said. I said for this, if you guys have relationship advice, come and ask us. It'll be fun because I wanted to hear you give it actually. But anyway, I don't know. People just have to figure these things out.
I'm gonna get canceled if I give my advice.
Good.
I'm already blocked from so many places. If I give my dating advice, I don't know if I don't want to ruin Secular Jihadists.
That's why it's going to be so much fun. And that's why I want to hear it. Okay, James is saying, how do you see the spread of secular values among people of Muslim backgrounds, including ex-Muslims, in the last few years in the West and Orient? Progress still going well or stalling?
Oh my God, the progress is going faster than we ever anticipated.
Yeah, I was always optimistic about this, Armin, though. You got to give me that. Like, I was always optimistic. I was
optimistic, but it even outdid my optimism.
Yeah. I used to say it over and over again. Like when we talked about this whole Muslim Enlightenment thing, I used to say that it was only 30 years ago. Salman Rushdie wrote a book, had to go underground and hiding, and now he walks around freely in New York. And we all have podcasts and we have books, and we're just kind of it's okay. I know people now, right, who are telling me. I've been hearing from Pakistan. People telling me in Pakistan, it's actually okay if you come here. You just stay low, and still not going to go, but there are ways to do it. I actually know secular people who wouldn't dare go to Pakistan before, who are sort of well known, who've gone there and come back. It is very, very different. It's very different now, and it's great. The fact that you have so much infighting and so much factionism within ex-Muslims too is a sign of its growth as well. There's a lot of diversity within the ex-Muslim community now too. Alfred, how should we deal with our mental health during lockdown when feeling trapped inside our religious family's household and have to act submissive? trying not to lose my sanity, and hope is very hard. Oh, that's a good question.
I have an answer.
Mhm.
However, my answer would work for me. Again, I'm not a mental health expert, and none of this might
Clearly.
work for you. Okay,
Yeah.
clearly, but this will definitely work for me. What the way I look at it is two ways. There's two ways to escape. First, exercise, and for exercise, you don't need a gym membership. You don't need any equipments. You don't need that much space. You could literally just do burpees. And if you could get some weights, that would be amazing as well. That a lot of people think I'm exaggerating, but that goes a long way when it comes to exercise. Has a huge impact on your mental health. It has a huge impact, and people feel like, yeah, whatever. No, it did. I think, again, I'm also not a biologist or a doctor, so this could all be wrong, but everything I've seen, it has a huge impact. Right? So exercise, it keeps your mind distracted, and also releases a whole bunch of stuff in your mind. And a healthier body is easier to maintain a healthy mindset if your body is healthy. So diet goes a long way as well, and lots of sleep as well. When it comes to being in also a lockdown, reading, I don't. Again, this is just for me, so I'm not saying if you feel locked, that means that it's unjustified. I just think, like, when it comes to traveling, you could travel to so many different places, to so many different worlds, to so many, even you could travel not just through different locations, but also through time. Just by using books, you could get so distracted. Your mind could you could get addicted to it at some point. Like, you will, if you dive into how many different worlds and ideas will get exposed to you if you bury yourself in books, you would wonder how people are even getting bored in a lockdown. You know what I mean? You won't understand, like, where you could be locked in a very small room, and if you have your books with you, you know that you could travel beyond. Nothing could chain you if you just tap into the book. It gives you wings, basically. But go on, Ellie.
Yeah, no, I think that last thing is excellent. So everything Armin said in the book thing, I just want to add, there's a quote, I think, by Mark Twain. Let me see if I can get it right. I'm going to paraphrase it. He said, those who know how to read but don't read, right, have no significant advantage over those who don't know how to read. Like, there's really no edge they have. And especially with fiction, I think with fiction, I can, some of the hardest things I've been through in my life, I've been able to just read a really good crime thriller or something just funny or anything, and it just takes you to a different world, and it really just removes the entire world from you, and you get lost in it. So I think books are fantastic. Matthew Nedifer saying, "What are you doing for Easter and Good Friday?" Oh,
and it's not a change for me. Every time a holiday like this happens, the only thing that changes for me is making sure we post some relevant memes on Atheist Republic about this thing. That's the only thing that changes compared to other day. There's oh, it's Easter. Okay, so make sure Atheist Republic posts some Easter memes. That's it.
Yeah. Yeah, for me, I have a daughter who's 4, so we're gonna do the whole Easter egg and bunny thing. I told her this is the day that the Easter bunny was on the cross, and then he flew up into the sky and brought down all the eggs, and it's kind of it's gonna be fun. So
yes.
If you have a kid, then Easter is always fun.
Yes.
It has nothing.
If I had kid, I would right now be looking. Oh yeah, if I had a kid, I know what I would be happening. I would be looking on YouTube on how to make sugar-free chocolate eggs.
Yeah,
that's what I would be doing right now.
That's really sweet.
All right, hold on. Let's go. What could be done? Here? That's a question.
Okay, so what could be done regarding Muslims in secular countries becoming increasingly conservative and religious, respecting humanist values less and less.
We got
So this is kind of similar to the question earlier about the religious conservatives in the U.S. And we did an episode recently with Zakir Naik and Yasser Qadhi, and we were looking at one of their conversations, and they were raising concerns about atheism and secularism spreading throughout. Yasser Qadhi was saying, it's spreading over here, and then Zakir Naik said, nope, it's all over the world. It's in Gulf countries too. So it's not actually them becoming increasingly conservative and religious. Young people are not like that. Young people, millennials across the Muslim world, and by the way, there are a lot more. 70% of the population across a lot of these Arab and Muslim countries, roughly, happen to be under the age of 30, and like the rest of the world, these sort of millennials are giving up religion. They're becoming more and more secular. So the conservatism and the religiosity, the increasing trend you're seeing, and the higher intensity of it is actually a bit of an illusion. These people, they do have power. They have power, but it's a reactive phenomenon. They're trying to hold on to something that's dying. We saw that with Iran, the recent survey showing that Iran is actually a Muslim minority country, according to the latest survey of 40,000 Iranians, right?
Ali, we have so many questions.
Okay, let's go. But I think that I just want to say that this stuff is an illusion. Like, the religiosity is not increasing; it's declining fast.
We have some.
Buckslayer is saying, "What is your position on comedy? Should punch up, not punch down. Don't you think in a third world country, punching down by the majority community might lead to actual problems?" Comedy
depends on I don't like general rules like that. It has to be specifically evaluated. So the harm and benefit of a joke should be individually based on that specific joke. Not like coming up with a general rule like this, I think.
Yeah, I agree with that. This is, I think, kind of an important thing, because if you're in the U.S. and you're talking about, say, Islam or Muslims, you're punching down. If you're in Saudi Arabia, you're punching up. It's everywhere. Comedy should be funny. It should be funny, and anything can be funny. Like, I know people say rape can never be funny, but imagine Bugs Bunny raping Adolf Hitler.
Okay, like, stop laughing, it,
right?
Ali. What? Stop. You're using the R word and then use the H word. You like all the words.
This whole stream is gone now. But come on, that is a funny image.
No, it gets worse. But it gets worse if you keep using it. Like, you make it seem like I'm being ridiculous, but it's not me, Ellie. It's not me.
It's YouTube. I understand, but I've already said it. So, Buckslayer.
Stop it.
Who's the next one? Bulbul. Why does the Muslim world care so much about Palestine and so little about Kashmir? Aha, we covered that earlier. But
yes.
There you go. That's it. It's because of Israel. Let's go on.
Yeah, because Israel has been demonized more effectively than India. Oh, wow. Nice comment. Thank you. I'm trying to find the next question. By the way, we got a new member as well.
He's saying Armin is funny. We did get a new member. Okay, so...
Here, Bubble.
We already did this, Armin.
Oh, we did this?
Mozambique.
She asked it again.
Puya Araban is saying, what critical thinking resources would you recommend to someone who is scientifically minded but still Muslim? Good question.
Critical thinking resources, just logical, just introduce yourself to logical fallacies. Actually, may I recommend Rationality Rules as a channel? Free. Just anybody who, it's a really good exercise. He goes through other people's religious claims, and if somebody just understands what he's saying, they will become very good at detecting logical fallacies at some point. So that's a free resource that I suggest.
Yeah.
But just understanding logical fallacies, whatever resource you use to just understand how they work, that's going to be very helpful, I think. Anyways.
Yeah, I'd also recommend The God Delusion, and I would recommend both Armin and my book, because I think that both of us worked on that kind of.
Thank you.
The idea of the importance of critical thinking.
Wow, I forgot to plug my own book. Yes, Why There Is No God and Atheist Muslim.
The Atheist Muslim, yeah. Ali Hamad artists.
No, we can't talk about Ali. We on Atheist. This topic we can't talk about because on Atheist Republic we just got a strike for talking about this topic. Even though we were fighting against the people who were spreading misinformation, YouTube got confused and thought we were saying the things, even though we were covering other people spreading misinformation. We just got a strike for this on Atheist Republic, so unfortunately we can't touch on this topic.
But and for the record, I support it. What you're asking, I support it fully.
Let me see it. Yes, I support it as well.
Yeah. So here's our super chat. Thank you, James. Wouldn't freedom of speech be an Enlightenment value that doesn't need any updating and that you more want to conserve as it is now or a few years ago than progress and change on?
That doesn't need any updating. Yes, okay, here's the thing. It might not need any updating, but it doesn't need updating because we can see based on data that it works. If at any point I get data that it doesn't work, I'm not religiously subscribing to certain values just because I love those values, right? It's based on the consequences of adopting those values, it's not based on principle. Okay, so if anybody could prove that freedom of speech is not a good value to hold on to, I'm not going to say like, oh, we should hold on to freedom of speech for the sake of holding on to freedom of speech. No. Okay, so that's the difference between conservatism and, I think being a progressive. I'm willing to even progress out of freedom of speech if you can. You're not going to be able to, but if you can prove to me that that's not a good value to hold on to.
Yeah, this is an example. I mean, there are those things have happened. Like you can have free speech and still have consequences for libel, right? Because that can potentially sink someone's economic, their business if you lie about them and to take away all their customers. It can be a problem if the whole example of shouting fire in a crowded theater, and that's also debatable. There's many aspects to it. There's regulation of speech that is not necessarily restricting freedom of speech, but saying, okay, you can't have nudity on public TV until after 10:30 p.m. You can't have swearing on public TV when kids are watching, things like that. So, it does evolve. There is an aspect of it that does evolve as well. So, those are things you have to think about as time moves on, as Armin is saying, or the spread of conspiracy theories, all this kind of stuff.
Yeah. Basically, my answer is that I'm willing to progress out of every single values on the Enlightenment value list, even if somebody proves to me that they don't work. By the way, we forgot to mention. Thank you so much for the super chat, £10. Very
I
kind.
mentioned that.
Oh,
Thank you again, James. Carl Jan. Any thoughts on Norway pushing for a boycott against the Qatar World Cup in 2022 following the human rights abuses? And why are so few democratic countries willing to join them?
Actually, I didn't know about this. Did you know about this?
No, I didn't know about this. I know I've heard stuff that there is a lot of controversy over the Qatar World Cup.
Yeah, I knew about that, but I didn't know Norway is pushing for boycott. I knew the human rights violations, but it's, again, I haven't looked into this, but it sounds like something I would support Norway for. But if some details comes out and we realize that, oh no, they're not doing it the right way, or they're being hypocrites or whatever, I can't speak to that. But just by the surface, just if this is true, it sounds like something I would want to support. Wahhabi Atheist, I like the username.
Wahhabi Atheist. This goes beyond my atheist Muslim thing. Great. What do you think of Vosh recently concentrating more on calling out the CCP on the Uyghur genocide?
I love it. Because it's triggering the tankies, right? So I do want a lot of people who are leftists and even socialists, because I'm a capitalist. So a lot of people who are capitalists seem to want to make it seem like anybody that is economically left, they're all the same. and they're all worthy of hate and dismissal. Like that's not how I see it, and I do want those lines to be drawn more clearly. I mean, me and Ali, we're both capitalists here, right? And one of our heroes is Mariam Namazi, who's a full-on outright communist, right? So but I do want, like, even Vosh, I think he considered himself a communist as well, but there's a difference between some communists and other people who consider themselves, no, other people are called tankies, right? So they're not just communists, they're apologists for the Soviet Union and China with today with all its human rights violations. And as much as I disagree with every single communist on economic issues, I do like the fact that they are drawing a line between them and people who make excuses for horrific regimes like that. So even North Korea, for crying out loud, some of these communist tankies, they even make excuses for North Korea, which is unbelievable. So I like the fact that these people are, as much as they're making excuses for communism, they're not letting their economic views be as a way to promote horrible regimes like that. So I like it. Ali, did you want to add anything?
No, I don't. No, it's good. I don't know Vosh, so
okay.
Yeah. All right.
Here's another question.
Let's keep going. So this question is, do you think AP's debate with Daniel Hakikaju was the lowest point within the ex-Muslim community? I don't know. I haven't seen this one either. Have you?
No, I think that letting people like Daniel Hakikaju speak is always a good thing.
Yeah, I think it's a good. You should be amplified. I think people like that because it's so obvious.
Yeah,
it's helped a lot. I mean, I gotta make one point on this. Like all these Dawa guys, like Ali Dawa and everything, they're not doing Dawa anymore. None of these guys are doing any of their Dawa. It's supposed to be an invitation to Islam, trying to spread the word, and trying to get more people in the fold of the faith. Nobody's doing that. Oh, they're spending their entire time fighting with ex-Muslim atheists. That's what they're doing. Like that's like 90% of what they do. They don't do anything else. It's half of what they talk about. Okay, well, 90% half. You know what I mean. It's gone. Susanna, we've talked about terrorist events in Mozambique on AR News before, but not in depth.
Okay.
I guess so. Yeah.
Susanna has a better memory than, of course. I mean, most people have a better memory than I do, but Susanna's memory is even better.
Just listen to more of my music. Mars Chung, how far?
Mars, hey Mars.
Yeah, how far a reach do you think woke and regressive left shit will go before we really see a solid pushback on it?
We have seen a solid pushback on it.
Pushback, Mars.
Where have you been? There has been okay, here's the thing. I think as much as crazy as woke regressive leftists are, most of the left is not like that, and most of the left has pushed back against this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, Mars, maybe you're like consuming most the media that is highlighting how ridiculous wokey stuff is, and you're consuming it so much that you're not consuming the media that highlights people pushing back on it. So yeah, even some of the most leftist content that I consume, they push back on woke stuff, right? So I'm actually pretty happy to see how little how woke stuff. Here's the thing: the only places right now that I'm noticing woke narratives is getting a lot of power is, I don't know, your Twitter mob people, corporates, big giant corporations, and also some places in academia, right? When it comes to corporations adopting woke narratives, those are not the leftists. In fact, a lot of the leftists hate corporate wokeism. So those are two separate things that people always if you consume a lot of conservative content, they will try to make it seem like these leftists and corporate wokeism are the same group of people, but they're not the same group of people. We got a new member.
Oh, cool.
Thank you.
Laiho Jose. Thank you. Thank you for becoming a YouTube member. Okay, next one. Dirty Dancer. When the right wing talks about Muslim slave trade, is it whataboutery or valuable to your cause? When the right wing talks about the Muslim slave trade, is it whataboutery or valuable to your cause?
I mean, it depends. Okay, here's the thing. I don't want to use right wing as if like it's a dirty word. Okay, there are many people in the right who are sane, wise people who, so just because somebody is right wing, that doesn't mean they're a bigot. Okay, and they might be pointing out to issues with Islam without trying to create a cover for their bigotry, right? However, I have to admit, if the right wing, I'm going to be more mindful that they might be doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
However, we shouldn't automatically assume that just because somebody is right wing, they're a bigot, and if they're talking about Islam, they're using it as a cover for their bigotry. Okay. I do get more, but shouldn't assume it. Go, Ali.
Yeah. I think in theory, Armin is right. He's correct. At a different time, he'd be right. I mean, he's right about this. But the reality right now is just generally nowadays the way that the right wing has been when they talk about these things, a lot of times this stuff doesn't help our cause. And nowadays, when the right wing has generally taken up causes that are important to us or conversations that we're trying to start, and they take it on, it really, really makes things a lot more difficult for us.
It does. However, I don't think we should do guilt by association. It is possible for somebody to be right wing and not be looking at Islam objectively without trying to use it as a cover or use it as whataboutery. It's possible.
That's right.
Yes. Bulbul.
Okay, so Bulbul is saying, any comments on the UK school Muhammad cartoon controversy, guys? They're bullying the school into firing the teacher. I can't believe we haven't talked about this yet.
Yeah.
But I think the answer is really quick, right?
What's your answer? Oh, any comments on you?
Yeah, the answer is they shouldn't fire the teacher. The teacher in this case, what he did was talking about I think it was history class or it was something where they were talking about the Charlie Hebdo incident, a real incident that happened where a whole bunch of people were killed for drawing cartoons. And it was a high-profile incident, and he showed what the subject of that controversy was. He showed the cartoon in class, and this is the reason that it happened. And that is completely legitimate. There's no issue with it. There's no problem with it. It should be allowed in schools. Nobody just have to take a stand against these people. The bullying into firing teachers. Teachers should not be fired.
I don't have an answer to this because I only saw the headline. I don't know the details. So if I support this, if I say she shouldn't have been fired, and then she realized she did something beyond just showing a cartoon, so I don't know. All right. So by the sounds of it, the firing was unjustified, unless something else happened that I don't know. Bobo, if you're Hindu, it's okay to come back. What is this? Just stay under the radar and use it. Oh, VPN. If you're a Muslim by any chance. I don't know what this is about. I think this is about something else that we said earlier. Okay, read this one.
This is Bulbul saying, if you're Hindu, it's okay. Huh?
No, Qasim.
Oh, sorry. I was on the I was on the YouTube page. Sorry. Yeah, Qasim is saying, how do you define moral oblige? Huh? Is it you choosing between good and bad or good and neutral? Moral oblige.
I don't know what that means, but here's the comment. The Bobo, I didn't understand this one. But this one,
it's okay. Let's just move on if it's not a question. So Puck Slayer is saying, I urge you to please do an episode on affirmative action in the U.S. What do you think about it? And please link it with the caste-based reservation in India.
Ooh.
We should do that at some point.
I already did that in Atheist Republic.
Yeah. Okay. In 2021, we're commemorating 10 years of Syrian civil war. Yet I haven't seen a single episode from you on it, even though it is a hotbed of Shia-Sunni conflict.
I already did that on Atheist Republic, and yes, so we might do again. Awesome. Here, Ali.
Yeah,
What are you doing?
nothing. Gossam is saying, "What's your choice? What's your
Okay.
choose?"
What's your choice? Hey, people's English is not their first language. Don't
No,
criticize
I'm
them.
not gonna. I'm trying to decipher it, Armin. I know this. Like, this
Okay.
happens all the time. What's your choice in case of a train with the two-path dilemma: 1 life or 5 lives? What if it was about 1 monkey against 5 monkeys? Oh, sorry.
All right.
I don't know about the monkey thing, but what would you do? The train dilemma.
The trolley problem.
Yeah, go ahead. Explain the trolley problem. Tell me what it was.
Wait, no, I'm not gonna. Everybody knows the trolley problem. Do I have to explain it? Okay, here's the thing.
Don't just answer the
A
question.
lot of people dismiss the personal. Here's the thing: when people are doing the utilitarian analysis on 5 or 1, okay, they're not calculating everything. They're only calculating 5 lives or 1 life. Okay, you know what? You know what they're missing in their calculation? I'm actually very happy that somebody's asking this. They're missing me, yourself. Okay, the harm to you for decide. Okay, for example, if you pull a lever, right, and go from 1 to 5 people. Okay, so you could be like, okay, go from 5 to 1 people. You be like, you could justify yourself. You know what? I say 4 lives, right? Whatever. But if you have to push the fat man in front of a trolley, okay, I know it sounds like it's the same thing, but emotionally it's not the same thing. You're like, oh, you have to be like, no, Armin, it's the same thing. The fat man is the same as the other guy who was trapped on the rail. No, it's not the same thing. My brain is wired to treat these things differently. Again, a lot of people don't understand when you are a utilitarian, that doesn't mean that emotions shouldn't be part of your calculations. Emotions is the entire point of utilitarianism is to calculate emotions. That includes my emotion. Putting my hands on someone's body and pushing them in front of a train, that has a negative utility on my psyche, okay? And that should be part of the equation. That should be measured as part of the equation. It's not the same as pulling the lever, okay?
Yes. So
yes,
yeah, that's that part of it where you put the fat man down. There's a super chat from Tulip 989.
Yes, I'm going to get to it. Thank you.
And there's a question, and she's asking a question too, or she's asking a question, whatever pronouns. Gossam, what's the next question?
Well, okay, here. I will get to that question soon. Yeah.
Aditya is saying, I got blocked by the spokesperson of the Chinese Foreign Office for saying they ran tanks on their people in Tiananmen.
Okay, well, that's good. That's a question. That was a comment.
Gossam is saying, can you have a stream about CCPIR 25 years deal? Any short comment about it for now?
We already addressed that earlier. We might do a stream on it.
Is that the $500 billion thing?
400, yeah.
400 billion. Aditya is saying a good rhyme for Dawa would be Tawa. What are you guys doing?
You guys, don't tag us if you answer a question.
I don't know. So Tulip, hey Tulip, how's it going? I love baking. Thank you for the super chat. I love baking. I'm a fabulous baker. What flavors do you guys like, and what type of frosting? I'd like to send you both cakes.
Oh, thank you. And the $10 super chat. How about this? How about I'll make my own cake with the $10 that you sent us? Oh no, but you're
you got to answer the question. What flavor do you like? What's your favorite cake flavor?
French cheesecake.
Cheesecake?
Is that a cheesecake? Yes.
Oh, for me, it's like as chocolatey as it can be. And what kind of frosting?
Nutella taste. Nutella
hazelnut.
Hazelnut, yes, and also Ferrero taste, whatever that is.
That's hazelnut.
I'm talking about ice cream taste now. Instead of, I don't know if you can make cakes taste like that. Yes.
You're not very good at desserts, right?
No, no.
Yeah, no, that's okay. I'm very good at them.
I don't consume a lot of sugar. Can you make cakes with like aspartame? Do you make cakes like that? But yeah.
All right. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
So she's gonna send us both cakes.
Thank you.
Bulbo is saying, sorry, this was for someone else. I thought I retracted it. Thank you, Armin, for highlighting that. That was great.
I'm just highlighting because everything that is tags us. Okay, here I'm done. Here. I love. Okay. Cool.
Okay. Here's one. I think I see one.
Where?
Alfred 1206. So Alfred is saying Islamophobia, racism, and discrimination are common terms that are thrown around a lot when apologists try to silence a discussion. Is it useless trying to talk to people who automatically block you off?
No, because what you're telling us right now was a major issue 10 years ago and 5 years ago, and it's less of an issue right now. So the fact that it's a less of an issue right now shows that trying to talk to people and telling them how these are not good pushbacks actually worked, because less people, the fact that less people come to you with, oh, you're an, like, used to be, if when I talked about Islam being bad, the backlash to that and being accused of being a bigot or Islamophobe used to be a lot more. And now you can see a lot of leftist content creators are like, yeah, Islam is bad. It's just like, so the fact that it's much less shows that trying to reach out to people works. Trying to like fight against these instant, block reactions that is meant to shut down a conversation has worked, and it will continue to work.
I want to say, just as a general rule, if there is a discussion out there that's happening, conversation out there happening, you don't like the way it's going, like, don't just bitch about it on Twitter. Go, and we talked about this with diversity and inclusion. Everybody's saying that there are some issues with it, and I understand there's some problems that I have with the way that the narrative is going too, like especially some of the woke elements of it. So what do? In your company, join the diversity and inclusion committee. Go there, tell them what your ideas are, and especially if you're like a person of color, if you're brown, black, whatever, they'll listen to you. They have to. The white people will listen to you because you're brown. You can get away with anything. Just go in and do it. Change it from the inside. Go with the system. Never cut people off.
I think we're good now.
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh.
Please flex your bicep. Ali, please flex your bicep.
Me flex my biceps?
Yeah.
I'm not gonna do that. I'm not gonna do that. Actually, you know what? They're not that bad right now. Actually, it's been. I'm not gonna. I'm not gonna flex them right now, but they're actually not that bad.
Yeah. Wait.
Yeah, those are good.
Yeah,
those are some nice ass.
Wait,
biceps.
You say it's not that bad? Show.
Huh?
Show.
I'm still working on it. No, I'm not gonna show my fucking biceps.
You did.
I'm not an object. I'm not an object. I'm not here for your consumption. I'm not here for you guys to jerk off over. Showing the biceps. Like, fuck's sakes. It's all right. Leave me alone.
My God. All right. Okay. Imam Tawhidi is God. He's Prince of Persia, the pride of Iraq. What the hell?
I don't know. There's so many motherfuckers are so weird. I love it. I think it's great. It's fun.
Yes.
Some really weird shit out there. It's a good thing that this doesn't go out as audio. Oh wait, does it?
What?
Does this go out as audio on iTunes?
I don't know. No. The Q&As don't.
This is just fun. Yeah. Yeah. Some really. Yeah. Oh wait. We just got another one. I got to talk about this.
What?
Your opinion on Mehdi Hasan. I want to talk about this.
Okay, you go ahead.
Do you have something to say on this or no?
I think he's really good at making BS sound very epic, and like he has some good points, to be fair, sometimes. But when it comes to Islam, he is the best at making the most ridiculous statements sound so intelligent, and like if I speak to him, he will probably say some nonsense, and I will probably have some facts, but it's going to sound like the entire conversation is going to sound like he completely destroyed me, even though that's how good he is in speaking. But go on.
Okay, so I have to say, first of all, I don't think that's true. I think it depends on what you're talking about. If you're talking about the Islam thing,
that's what I said. Islam.
Yeah, he's got a blind spot on the Islam thing, and there's a video that I put up that has kind of gone viral since, and some people quote it every time somebody's talking about Mehdi Hasan. And I collected some of the clips of his where he was reading like one of those majalis things where he was talking about lumping gay people in with pedophiles, and there's just all kinds of saying terrible things. So
I think you said every single word today that YouTube doesn't like, all of them. So
you can say that either. Even if you're discussing,
don't worry. You said all of them. You said all of them today. There's literally nothing else that you can say.
What is okay? Anyway, but that's what he was doing. That's doing, and so I put up this video. So like, I don't like what he does. The other thing I should say, full disclosure, I am actually kind of related to him through in a distant way. So there's that. The third thing I want to say is that I completely agree with him when it comes to politics. Whenever he talks about politics, when he talks about U.S. politics, I have differences with him on some things.
Not on Israel. On Israel, I don't agree with him. On Israel, I don't agree with him.
And on Israel, I agree with him like half. Okay, but again, of course, we're not going to be fully aligned. But I think he's very astute. He's definitely worth listening to. He's a fantastic interviewer. Every time he gets somebody on to interview them, he is actually one of the best interviewers out there. So I think in that I'm glad that he has his own show. I think that's fantastic. But on Islam, he's got on religion and that religious apologism, he's got a blind spot, and it's ridiculous. And yes, Buck Slayer is saying that he has apologized for those statements publicly. He actually did that in response to the video that I put up. And then after he apologized for it, he blocked me. So
wow.
Yeah. So it was in response to that because I put up that video. So credit where it's due. He did apologize for it. But
and he blocked you though. That's like, okay.
Yeah.
Pathetic.
But still, doesn't matter.
Pathetic. I mean, blocking you for something that if he blocked you because you were like being like just like attack, just being harassing him or just like being the fact that he apologized at me, acknowledged that you were right, and then he still blocked you. So that's just. I mean, he can do that. It's fine. Like if he doesn't like you or whatever. But I find it pathetic.
I haven't lost any sleep over.
Let's just do.
Chi Kiat Young is saying, Armin, would you blame the intervention of Western countries in constitutional revolution and 1953 coup caused Iran lost a chance of becoming a liberal and democratic country?
Yes and no. Yes and no. Okay, so this
is the Mossadegh coup of 1953, the British and the CIA. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the thing. I was actually discussing this with my dad recently. Obviously, yes, I would blame them, right? For there was such an anti-democratic move, right? It was such an anti-democratic move, and it's probably the reason why Iran is the way it is right now. So, I mean, this is the classic, the British Empire and the Americans wanting democracy for themselves and then fighting against democracy in other countries, right? Ali is doing personal grooming.
Just keep talking.
While I'm talking about the okay. So, however, again, this is not a justification of this. This is just interesting to think about, okay? This should not be, again, I'm going to say this, some people are going to see this as justification. Because if the reason why this is not justification is because if this is justification, then anything that happens in history, no matter how bad it is, it could be justified using this tactic. So the worst crimes in history could be justified if you use my line of thinking. So this is not a justification. It's just interesting to think about. The one reason why that happened was because of Mossadegh trying to getting closer to communist groups in Iran. And at that point in history, United States had only two things, one metric when it comes to crushing something or not, or supporting it, and that was like, is it communist friendly or is it not communist friendly? The United States was obsessed at that time in history and just removing all influence of communism. Okay, and when Mossadegh was like getting close to those, then they were like, okay, guy, your time is up. However, I don't know what the world would look like today if the communists were not crushed by the Americans, the way if that ideological fight around the world was not as successful as the United States, if the communism was not defeated so soundly by the Americans, the world today might have been a lot shittier. Okay, but however, this is again not justification, because the United States does a lot of shady things in South America, in so many places around the world, right? So again, I'm saying this is not justification, because all of those shady things, there's a lot of human rights violations committed by the United States, a lot of shady things all around the world. So if I want to think like that, if I were like, imagine if the United States didn't defeat the communism, how crappy the world would be right now. Again, that's just fun to think about, but I shouldn't use that as a way to justify what Americans did around the world, because they did a lot of crappy stuff. I do want to say Tulip gave us a super chat, and I feel like I didn't appreciate her offer of making cake. I was kind of like, my sugar phobia didn't make me appreciate what she was saying that much. Tulip, I do want to know if you can make sugar-free cakes. I would really be interested in knowing that. That was a major segue. You're muted, Ali.
Like she offered us she gave us money and then offered us cakes as well. That's great.
Yes, yeah.
Someone's saying she's probably trying to poison us.
No,
I wouldn't be surprised.
No, I don't believe that. No, Tulip is no. Don't say that.
Oh, that's so sweet. You have a soft spot for Tulip. It's really nice.
Yeah. No, somebody's offering us cake. That's sweet. Literally.
Armin's very moved by this. That's great. Tulip, you really moved Armin. Go on.
Okay. No, that's it. Do you have anything else?
I don't have anything else. So let's do this thing that we did last time. We recommend something that we saw this month or read this month that we want to, that you guys should all check out. And as I say this, I have nothing in mind right now, so I have to think of something while you go first.
I'm reading a book right now called 100 Muslims. It's very biased, but I'm still enjoying it. Very pro-Muslim bias, and it's so funny to me about the things, like it's going through the lives of the most 100 significant Muslims in history. And like when I got to the Omar chapter, it mentioned like Fatima's death without ever mentioning anything about Omar. It mentions like it's so biased. Like every single person I know, like I wonder if it's going to mention this. Like I wonder, and it doesn't. Like it keeps whitewashing all their lives. But still, I'm finding it enjoyable. I think the best way to understand the history, the most entertaining way of understanding the history of Islam, is through the stories of the lives of the people who made those histories happen. So that's why I'm really enjoying this book right now, even though it's sometimes frustratingly biased to pro the lives of these people, right? Yeah.
Okay. So I have something for. I mean, it's not necessarily related to this stuff, but for those of you who like music, right? Armin, you're obviously not part of this group.
I love music.
You just don't like mine. Okay, yeah, yes. I got it. There is a singer out of Kazakhstan. Okay, Kazakhstan was just originally famous for Borat. His name is Dimash Kudaibergen. His original name is Dean Muhammad, actually. So he comes from a Muslim family, but there's nothing Muslim about him. He has a 6-octave vocal range, and it's the kind of thing where you hear it, and he is so phenomenal. You will not have heard anything like that in his life. So he's in his early 20s, and he's got opera singers. He's got all kinds of people just scratching their heads, trying to figure out how he's able to sing the way that he does. So he has some performances that he did live on different singing competitions. Right now, he's really, really big in Asia, but just watch it. I think this is like a Michael Jackson level talent that you're going to see in North America very soon, especially after the pandemic. He's just absolutely phenomenal. So if you guys check it out, go on YouTube. Don't just check out Dimash. That's Dimash. Also check out Vocal Coach reactions to Dimash, and you're going to go down this rabbit hole that is an absolute pleasure. You guys are going to love it. I've been fanboying him for a while now, and I think I will be for a while again. So, in any case, that's it.
All right.
That's it, guys, for tonight.
All right, guys. Thank you, everyone. Just 2 more questions. How bad do you miss Iran, Armin? I'm fine. I'm okay. I do miss. It doesn't matter. I mean, the only thing that I wish I saw more, I wish I took pictures at least when I was there, was Isfahan. That's why I saw this question. That's why I picked up this book, Isfahan. Isfahan is kind of pretty. I would, if I could go back to Iran, the main place I would really want to go to would be Isfahan.
That sounds really cool.
Yeah, but that's it. And also,
Mir Jalal, I can't believe you highlighted this question, Armin.
Oh my
Ali, when are
God.
you going to sing for us live? I'm not going
Never.
to do it right now, but I do want to plug one thing. I have recently started a project, right, where I have recorded some music. I'm working with a friend of mine from a long time ago, who's a phenomenal guitar player, and we're doing acoustic guitar and tabla, which is the Indian instrument tabla. And we just recently finished a cover of Soundgarden's, like Chris Cornell's "Like Suicide," the song "Like Suicide," and we've turned it into a sort of an acoustic guitar tabla jam with me singing. It's kind of fun. It's very dark, not easy listening. It's never going to be a radio hit. Not one of those things. It's just sort of experimental, fun, and just sort of complex, layered. I think it'll be great once it comes out. I'll let you guys know. And yeah, that's it. So hopefully, look out for that. We'll be doing more work like that.
If you can go to Iran and you're interested in the history of the Safavid dynasty, make sure you check out Isfahan. I was in Isfahan as a child, and I am angry at my parents for not having pictures to prove it.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay, everybody. Guys,
bye.
Patreon.
Yes, support us on Patreon. No.
So
link in the description, patreon.com/SJME. Link in the description. Support us on Patreon. If you support us on Patreon, you get to come on we do 4 other live streams like this every day on specific topics. However, those live streams are available to our patrons to come live and ask questions. Support us on Patreon.
Smash the subscribe button and just go, that bell underneath, go and assault it. No consent needed. Just go absolutely nuts and just join our channel. Well, I don't know. I think that's all the stuff I'm supposed to say. And we're going to see you next time. #BeBest. Be best, everybody. #.
Be best.